Damnatio in one singular slash has essentially guaranteed his victory over the current roster of Black Bulls by taking out the two most important members. With Gray and Ghost both being out of commission or possibly worse, dead, the Bulls have gone from a team that, while significantly weaker, had a solid chance of taking out his paladin, to basically flies swimming around a bug zapper. They're going to annoyingly fly around for a bit, but eventually one by one they'll all end up, well, zapped. Because Gray's transmutation magic, being the closest thing the team has to a healer, was basically the hacks they needed to stand toe-to-toe with Damnatio. Because over the past year and few months, she has trained her magic to be much faster, allowing her to heal fatal wounds almost instantly. And combined with her future boyfriend's mirror magic, creating multiple clones of herself, one for each member of the Bulls, she essentially made it so any damage they took was null and void. Which was the greatest support they could ask for at the moment, because essentially the plan for the Black Bulls when going up against Damnatio is, there's a paladin over there, let's hit it. And I don't know why I thought being led by Nock would lead to some grand strategy being put in place by the squad that would somehow lead to them outsmarting Damnatio, or make it so they can land a guaranteed hit on him that would end up taking him down. That's just not how the Black Bulls operate. Yes, they do make some plans, like how they set up the Gray and Ghost strategy, and the idea of using Henry and Gordon's compound magic to counter Damnatio's skills. That was smart, but it is much more in character for this squad to just simply improvise, which is actually a good thing, because if they had put all their hopes into the Gray and Ghost idea, then once they were taken out, everything would just simply fall apart. But instead, even after taking heavy damage and losing their best shots at taking them down, the Bulls got back up ready to keep fighting. Mostly thanks to Nero, who with her sealing magic was able to seal up the damage they had taken. She can't heal the squad like Gray can, but she can, at least for now, make it so they can ignore the damage, which actually might end up being how she manages to save Gray and Ghost, by sealing their wounds just long enough for the Witch Queen to step in and save the two of them. Or if my theory about members of the Reason 7 coming with Asta to the Clover Kingdom is accurate, then we'll most likely see Fujio using his healing magic to save all of them. Because while we haven't seen that much from him so far, I would definitely argue what we have seen of his healing magic is at least on par with Mimosa after training in the Heart Kingdom for 6 months, which means he should be more than capable of saving Gray and Ghost and healing the remaining members of the Black Bulls. Okay, so let's take a minute to see where we're at right now. Ghost and Gray, out of commission, there goes our healing. Gordon and Henry, their compound spell is still active, but already proven not to be that effective, and the Megazord has already been taken out, so Henry lost pretty much all his attack power, leaving the remaining heavily injured Black Bulls to face off against a handful of angels and a paladin that is said to be stronger than a Supreme Devil. Things, they don't look good right now, but there is still hope at the end of this tunnel, because at the very end of the day, the Black Bulls do not have to win this fight. No, they just had to hold Damnatio back long enough for the Doors of Destiny spell to work and bring Asta back. And that is something that I do think they are capable of doing. Because just going off what we've seen from this chapter alone, we know that a few characters are still holding back in this fight. For example, we still haven't seen Charmy transform just yet, so we know there's still more to see from her. And Nock has only used one devil in this devil union, so we still need to see him use the version that has 2 devils in it. Hell, I could even see him pulling out a devil union with 3 devils for this fight. Though I do think that the devil union with all 4 of his devils that we've been waiting for is going to have to wait until we see him fight against Morgan. Now, when it comes to the others though, I'm not so sure about them. As of now, I think we've seen the extent of what we know they can do, but it has been over a year and a few months, so it's likely that they do have more tricks up their sleeve that we just haven't seen just yet. I mean, considering the fact that after training in Elysia for 3 days, Luck became strong enough to take down multiple mid-tier devils by himself, I can imagine that after a year of training, he'd be a lot stronger now and possibly able to contend with at least a high-ranking devil. Now again, even though some of these guys have more power they can pull out for this fight, none of that is going to lead to them actually taking down Damnatio. He's just way too strong for them to take on right now. But they can hold him back for just a few more minutes. The real and unfortunate question is though, how many more of the Bulls are we going to lose before Asta comes back? And I think the answer to that is at least 3 more, because Henry and Gordon are most likely the next targets on Damnatio's radar. Their compound spell, while not too effective, is still something he'd want to shut down immediately. In fact, they were actually his first targets in this chapter. They only survived because of the fact that Gray was using her healing magic on them. And Magna, he's almost guaranteed to be taken down just because he kinda ends up getting the short end of the stick in most arcs anyway, leaving only Charmy, Nero, Nock, Zora, and Luck possibly standing. I still even think some of these characters might be taken out as well. And now, that being said, keep in mind, I don't think any of these guys will actually end up dying, but this is how I see the rest of the fight playing out, at least until Asta's back in play. who we see basically in this chapter unaware of the entire life and death battle that his friends are going through right now. But once he's back in the witch's forest and sees exactly what happened to his friends, nothing will be able to save Dominadio from his wrath, as Asta will unleash the full might of his new Zen abilities on the Paladin and Angels, destroying them almost instantly. But lucky for Dominadio, Asta knows that the Paladins are being controlled, so any Paladin he faces will more than likely survive, with him just severing Lucius's influence from them like he did with Sister Lily. Which is a way better outcome for him than if I was Asta, because I am very petty and will take this opportunity to get revenge against him for basically the whole trial situation and almost killing Marie. Okay, so this is how I see things playing out. We'll get one more chapter of the Black Bulls putting their all into stopping the Paladin. He'll push him into a corner, and just as he's about to finish his mission, Asta will show up deflecting his last attack. Then in the following chapter, we'll spend maybe the first half focusing on the Black Bulls getting healed up and then all of Asta making his grand return. Then in the second half, we'll focus on Asta basically just taking down the Angels and the Paladin. And then the following chapter after that will be all the Black Bulls, the members of the Reason 7 that came over with Asta, Dorothy, and hopefully the entirety of the witches making their charge over to the Clover Kingdom. Or at least that is ideally how I would like to see the next few chapters play out, but Tabata doesn't always do what I expect him to. In fact, he almost never does exactly what I expect him to each chapter, so we'll just have to wait and see what he has in store for us next.